Hey, how's it going? Complacent Badger. Doing another review. This will be Boss Monster Tools of Hero Kind. This is an expansion to the original game Boss Monster. I did a review of Boss Monster about 7 months ago. So, pretty decent time for an expansion to come out 7 months after, right when the game starts losing a little bit of its panache. I'm kind of glad it came out because I'd stopped playing Boss Monster. It was a good game, but for some reason I just stopped playing it. Maybe it's because, a little bit of the cult of the new, playing games that I hadn't played before, whatnot. But this expansion overall is a pretty good change. Not a huge change, but a good change. The components are not changed at all. It's from the same Kickstarter campaign, so obviously it's pretty much the same stuff going on. It's a very small box that it came in because it wasn't a lot of cards that actually came in. It was 26 extra cards. Doesn't sound like a lot, and I don't know what the retail price is going to be, but 26 cards shouldn't be that expensive. Being a small box doesn't really fit the original problem of having too small of a box, especially if sleeved, of the original game, trying to keep it all in one box. It all fits in there, kind of had to work it a little bit. It's in there. Gameplay, originally I gave it a 7. I think the gameplay is increased to an 8 with this expansion. Tools of Hero Kind is interesting and adds a new dynamic to it. The idea is that the heroes themselves gain items to assist them in defeating you. If you can defeat a hero that has an item, you take the item and can utilize it. This adds a whole interesting aspect. Magic was originally the only thing that you could use to mess with people. A couple room abilities as well, but the Tools of Hero Kind make it another aspect that you have to watch out for and utilize. The rules for the expansion are perfect. I have no issue. It's just one little card that has rules on one side and the other, and they're pretty straightforward. I originally gave the rules a 5 just because there were some vague areas that I could argue, but now it's an 8. For specifically the expansion, the other rules are still a 5. The expansion doesn't actually clarify anything from the original game, or else I probably would have upgraded the rules expansion up to a 10. The theme of the game, nothing has changed. It's still really fun to see. It's really fun to go down. A lot of the ideas came from backers actually making ideas and submitting them. So there's a lot of stuff that's from other games, just like this entire Kickstarter campaign was. The expansion is pretty fun. Originally I gave it a 7. With the expansion, I'm giving it a 9. I really think the Tools of Hero Kind adds a new dynamic to the game that makes it even more of a fun game to sit down and play. It kind of curbs that magic issue that I originally had. There's other avenues that you can go. It makes the heroes more dangerous. You have to really watch your treasures. It's a little bit of a crunchier game, but fun. The complexity is a minor upgrade. I still don't think it's very difficult to understand, but just because the rules are so simple in Tools of Hero Kind, but I do think it adds a fairly dynamic strategy increase. You have to be very careful of your treasure upgrades because these items that these heroes have can be extraordinarily deadly. The length, no change whatsoever. As long as you know the rules, you just flip out the cards. It really doesn't change anything whatsoever. The game is still a fairly short game. Do you need this expansion? I think if you're a fan of Boss Monster, especially if you kickstarted it, and you're going to most likely get this anyways, but if you didn't get it because of such a low backing, because you weren't sure if it's going to be a good game, depending on the cost of this, I don't think I'd pay more than $10 for this. I don't think it adds that much if they put it for 15, but if it's 10 or less, this is definitely worth it. You don't need it, but if you really like Boss Monster, get it and enjoy it. Right. Thanks for watching.